How was that experience losing your father who's not with you now and he's not able to see all the beautiful things that you're doing today?
Mm. So I lost him when I was quite young, 6 or 7 years of age. I don't have actually too many memories. Like in general, my memory is fairly bad when it comes to my own life. Those things they don't tend to stick too much. And so with my dad, I didn't have too much of a bond where I'm like, oh, I wish you could see where I'm at now or something like that. It was more on me personally the impact. Like I cut myself off from my emotions for quite a long time because of that event, which then impacted my relationship with my wife. And so it actually became a gift in the end, strangely enough, because being disconnected from your emotions and reconnecting with your emotions and going through the grief and going through dark times, it really actually has helped me to understand the spectrum of human emotions. You can go from very dark to the point where you don't want to be here to being extremely joyful. And so that understanding is greatly impacted the work I do. I wouldn't be able to do the work I'm doing today without it.
And you raise a good point because I think there's many of us that don't have that trauma or that dark place as a reference point of a part of a place in their life where they don't ever want to go back to,
Right.
right? Like everything that you're doing, you and your spouse, and the journey that the two of you continue forward. You know where you don't want to be because there's a point in time, as you mentioned, where you closed yourself off and you blocked those emotions. Was it How difficult was it for you to come back from that point in your life to now where you're using it, as you mentioned, now it's a gift because now you understand things a little bit differently than many people today?
It was a journey. Okay. So at the very beginning, like when people were talking about the death of my father, and I felt like they were almost defining me through that. And I was always a bit like trying to push it away. I'm like, no, I'm not that. He had his choice and his freedom. He made his decision, whatever. So I was not willing to go there, and it took a while working with various people. Not because I was looking to look at my daddy issues, to be honest, but it was part of me. It was part of me, right? So having to work with different people or want to work with different people, it eventually came to that point. And that point was actually I was in England with a lady. I was doing a retreat with her, 7 days, one to one, and I was on her massage table. It's the second time I saw her, and she started to have tears in her eyes, and she told me, those are your tears. And in that moment I just like burst open. I was crying, crying, crying. That was the moment where it reconnected, right, where the emotions came out and an integration started happening. And so when you look at that, like that moment, that wasn't difficult. It was all the pre-work that needed to happen though for that moment to occur.
And now that you're using that and you're helping others, take us through that journey. How important is it to you to use your experience to help other people become better and to help the women that the both of you are helping? How was that experience for you?
Oh, it's paramount, really. I mean, for me, look, when I'm with someone, I'm not afraid of the dark places they might have inside of them, or that they might need to visit, or that might come up in the conversation. And so that gives me an ease going into the conversation because I understand those places. I've been there myself and I can guide someone through them. So it gives me tremendous confidence in terms of working with people. And also it gives you has given me the perspective of some of the mindset that happens when you go into this place, right? So without this understanding, how am I going to help them through that if it's necessary? Now, it's not always necessary. Like, it's not like I'm working with people and all time there's this darkness that we have to go into. Not at all. Not at all. Um, but knowing it, it gives you, it also lets me know, like you are not that. People sometimes identify, you get depressed and whatever, and you think, this is it, this is me, I'm just useless and valueless and all that stuff. And you identify with that. Well, having gone that, myself through that, I understand it and I know it and I know the lie. I know the lie the mind tells. And it is seeing through that lie that liberates people. So I don't see people as broken. I don't see them as needing to be fixed or something like that. And knowing that actually makes the work a lot easier.